Water resources in the places where mining and mineral processing is done are becoming increasingly stressed. We see that particularly in North and Western United States, in Canada, in South America, and in Australasia. The water resources are stretched, and it's becoming critical to find new ways, new methods of conserving water and making sure that those, scarce resources are used appropriately. And so most companies involved in mineral processing around the world at least pay varying attention to water, but from substantial to extreme. So water is becoming increasingly important in our industry.
When you think about water, it's another one of our resources, and as we go forward, there's much pressure on our industry to reuse or limit the use of water, and that obviously affects water quality, and therefore we may have to make separations with the quality of the water different and challenging, causing some challenges. So it's a great technical problem that the industry has been dealing with in lots of different ways, particularly around seawater processing, for example. And we're going to see more of those kinds of challenges in the future as there's, again, that renewed focus on limiting our use of water.
There is a depletion of groundwater and available water for all these for mining operations, especially if you talk about greenfield operations. A lot of the work that they're doing initially has now become about finding sufficient water. And in terms of permitting, even water is turning out to be one of the big issues. Before it was the space and the waste or managing the tailings. Now it's about where you're going to get the water. And so from that perspective, there's really a need to improve water efficiency. So use lesser and lesser water, recycle water, and or use other sources of water that are non-traditional sources of water. So now, so we're seeing people interested in trying to use seawater, and that's certainly the case in South America, where they are looking at the use of seawater for the processing plants. What happens to your processing efficiency and performance when you're using let's say seawater, brackish water, or hypersaline water, and all these and water that's minimally treated, or so these guys. So diversifying our water sources is the imperative, and at all these mining companies, and we're seeing that there has to be that things have to change.
And of course, the ultimate way to address the water issue is to go to dry processing. And we have a number of papers on dry processing. There's tremendous amount of interest around the globe in looking at options for sorting and other dry separation techniques. Some of them at quite an early stage, but some of these technologies are really looking quite exciting for dry processing alternatives. And then, of course, tailings disposal. We are looking very carefully, the industry is, at methods for reducing water loss and water consumption in tailings disposal facilities through paste tailings and potentially filtered tailings in some applications, which in itself is a very challenging technology to be applying.